What's up, winners and whiners, everybody, family out there? Welcome, College Capper Show. I'm Detroit Lenny, Scott Reichel joining us here. Talk some college football action. Every week, we break down top 25 matchups. Every Thursday, 7 o'clock Eastern, we break it all down. You guys are going to like, share, subscribe, do the right thing, comment. It's interactive. Feel free to drop your comment. Tell Scott Reichel how wrong he is or how right he is or how crazy batshit I am. It's either way. You do you, Pikachu, in the comment section. But we'll get after this. Scott, how you feel about last week overall?
Overall, it was fine. If you ignore the actual best bet we had at the end of the show, and I thought it was really good. But besides that, didn't really work out with the Army and North Texas over. Wasn't close. I feel like it was kind of screwed once North Texas had that goal line stand in the first quarter. But for the most part, the pace just wasn't there. But both teams just
Yeah.
didn't generate enough big plays. So you're kind of hoping that it would kind of balance out. Daly came back, so the total closed at like 67.5. Beat a massive line move there. Wasn't close, though. So we had a
Not
good
even
run
a
there,
little
won
bit.
a couple weeks in a row. I know we're still above 500 since we started
Yes.
doing the show, so not the end of the world, but yeah, one bad pick. Once again, though, did beat a 4-point line move, and it just didn't
Yeah.
matter, so it is
Well, I
what
want
it
to
is.
keep. Okay, I think we should keep pounding that point. We did beat a massive line movement, and everything. I hate to be that guy, and this is the second time I've said this today, but I'd make that bet again. I just would. I feel like we had the right look at it. It just the pace was never there. I felt like Army knew they could beat them and just kind of held them there.
Well, they decided to drain a bunch of clock because they
Yeah.
knew that they were going to, even the one touchdown drive that they had in the second half was like 21 plays, 13 minutes or whatever. And at that point, it was dead. But it is what it is. Point is, though, Army won, so I'm happy with that personally. But not sure how they're still
Yeah.
ranked outside the top 20. It's a whole separate story with them being undefeated. But point is, yeah, it wasn't that close, but it did close 67.5. So whatever.
I love this comment here. General Patton would not have been happy with Army's score, not even a little bit. Joan says hi. What's happening, Joan? Glad to be back live with y'all. What's up, guys? Happy to be here. Appreciate you guys stopping by in the comment section. We'll start. Let's get this party rolling here because Army just reminds me. Overall, last week I was in the green, so I can't be mad.
I
It
won my
just
YouTube play, so it was that, but I just lost the joint play with you. So I'll try to bounce
yeah.
back.
So it's my fault. I understand.
I didn't
I
say
get it.
that. I said
I
joint
heard it. I
play.
heard it.
I said it was a combo. You know.
I heard it. It's like Michigan State right now. It's like, I'm like, I'm okay, but I'm not good.
You got a shot
You
in a
know,
bowl game though. Could be worse.
could be worse, right? Exactly. Could be a lot worse. Let's talk about this matchup, Big Ten matchup, Ohio State and the Buckeyes, minus a whole crap ton of points. 4 touchdowns and a hook against Northwestern, total 43.5. For me, when I see real quick before you get into this game, but like for me, when I see a total and a spread not too far apart, to be honest with you, obviously you don't expect the odds makers don't expect a whole lot from Northwestern. I just kind of stay naturally away from these games unless there's a specific point that I like in the game. But what are your thoughts in this matchup?
Yeah, Ohio State on paper should kill this team, but on paper they should kill a lot of teams. Northwestern
Right.
did win in overtime against Purdue. Had a bye last week. Purdue we know is terrible, but you're looking at the actual games recently. Lost to Iowa by 26. Give up 40 points to Iowa? What are you serious? Lost by 20 to Wisconsin. Team's not very good. I think Ohio State, after winning 45-0 against Purdue probably should have scored at least one time. Had a couple
Yeah.
of field goals, or I should say bad red zone possessions, but I think Ohio State probably wins 35-0. If I had to
Yeah.
guess, maybe like 38-7. I know that's going to matter for the sake of the total because that is going to, once again, maybe one goes over slightly. Ohio State really should kill this team. And we know Northwestern is a team that doesn't really threaten you offensively at all. And with this Ohio State defense, I am not exactly expecting Northwestern to reach the end zone in this game. So I'll go with Ohio
Fair.
State to win this game like 30. You know what? I'll meet in the middle. Give me 35-3.
Fair. I mean, that's the thing. What worries me about stuff like this is if Ohio State wins this game 45-0, nobody's going to be surprised. They
No.
should win this game by that at least. But I don't. Northwestern at home. I mean, I know they're 2-4 in the conference, but I'm not taking the points. Let's put it that way. But I'm not laying them either. And that's my take really on the Big Ten. I can't stand either team, even though we're not having a good year, we still don't like these two.
At least you've beaten Northwestern. Ohio State, you haven't had many wins against recently. So
that's true. That's true. Fair. We can hang our hat on that. We'll take that. Texas minus 13, total 57.5, traveling to Arkansas. This is a Texas team that I kind of want to be on right now for no reason. I don't have a whole lot of reason to be on them. I worry Arkansas in a bounce back type spot, needing the 6th win, or wanting to get that 6th win. They lost badly though to Ole Miss last week. Arkansas lost badly. What are your thoughts?
It's 2 weeks ago, but still they got their asses kicked.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. My bad. Yeah.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head though. They gave up, just to go through the numbers here for Arkansas, they gave up 63 points. It was pretty rough. Texas, we know, is going to make the playoff. They're currently in a good spot to potentially win the SEC, especially with Georgia continuing to lose. But offensively, they were great against Florida. They won by 32. Could have won by a lot more. They kind of took the foot off the gas late, but I think Texas is the better team. Arkansas was able to upset Tennessee earlier this season. Tennessee turned out to not be as good offensively as we thought they were going to be, because they were great to start the season. Then recently they've kind of shut it down in conference play. So the win over Tennessee is good. I don't think it's as great as it was when the season started, when you looked at Tennessee for the first couple of weeks. But I'll go with Texas. They should win this game by at least 14 points. Arkansas defensively is really just not a threat at all. They gave up, 6 passing touchdowns to Dart. I think Ewers will look good. I think Texas defense will look good. It is a bye week prep, so you have to acknowledge that Arkansas might look better offensively. Don't mind the over in this game, but I think Ewers lights it up. Give me Texas minus 13.
I like Tech. The only way I got Texas right now currently is in a teaser to take them down to. I had it at 12.5, so I have it at 6.5 now in a teaser situation. But you're right; they should win by 2 touchdowns. And I don't hate the over here. I think you get a little bit of Arkansas, but I don't know if you get enough. If that makes sense. Keep this party going. Utah and Colorado. Buffalo's minus 11.5, 46.5 is your total. I get that Utah's bad, but are they this bad? Are they double digit?
They probably should have beaten BYU, if that counts.
Okay. That might be too soon, but I get it. They horrible. I get they lost their last 5 and everything like that, but don't they get up for this game a little, or are they just dead in the water? Have they just taken a knee?
I mean, I feel like if you're looking at Colorado's recent form, they've been great. Dion and company have gotten the defense together. They've looked a lot better. They get a shot to win the conference, actually. Utah, you could argue that was the get-up spot. You face off against BYU. You have the Mormon rivalry, whatever you want to call it. Point is, though, you could have won that game, and you ended up kind of blowing it. Whether the officials helped or not, whatever. Point is, you could have won the game. I still don't like their offense at all, and they have a hard time of actually moving the ball. So I think Colorado should be able to light it up through the air. I think it's going to be close. I don't see it being a blowout per se. I think that Utah can hang in there. They're going to be physical. They're going to dare Colorado to kind of match them in the trenches. But I just see Shedeur having a solid game through the air. I think Utah, after that emotional get-up spot, followed by a loss against BYU, it wouldn't shock me if Utah came out a bit flat for this game. I don't mind the under, though, because I don't see Utah scoring many points. I'm not exactly sold on this offense at all. And even if Utah does score, they're going to try to drain a bunch of clock. They can't really throw. They want to run the ball a lot. They want to milk the clock. I see an under in this game, but I see Colorado winning. If I had to go with like 27-13 type game, that's kind of what I'm expecting. Give me Colorado. I think they find a big place through the air, but I am going to go with the under because Utah, I think, will single-handedly drag the pace to a crawl.
That's fair. I don't hate the under as well. I kind of lean. I didn't even think of the under, but I like that play. I lean to Utah with the points only because they just. I mean, yes, they could have won, coulda, woulda, shoulda with that BYU game type situation, but they did stay in that Houston game. They stayed in that TCU game. I mean, they only lost by 8 in that Arizona State game, and then they lost by 13 against Arizona. So I feel like they stay around, and they're just like a thorn in their side. Colorado wins this game by 7 to 10 points.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Right around there. But so I lean kind of with the Utes plus the points, but I like the under, maybe a 27-17.
I
I
mean,
don't
it
know
is
if that,
correlated because if Utah keeps it close, they're not going to get into a shootout with
Mhm.
Colorado. So
No, no, they can't. They're not built like that. In many, they're not built like that. Um, Clemson, Pitt, Clemson minus 11, total 53 and a half. I think this total has changed too, or this line since this morning when I created this. Or no, it's still at 11 and a half. It's at 11 and a half, 11. Shop your lines, but I mean, you're going to get in a row in the Clemson. What do you want to talk about them? I mean, they're just rolling. I mean, I know they lost against Louisville in that whatever game, but they beat Virginia Tech last week, 24-14. Pitt coming off of 2 losses. They look horrible in their last 2 weeks. Do
yeah,
you
that's kind of
trust
where
them to
I'm at.
bounce back at home?
Clemson was a tale of two halves. They really didn't get much going offensively for the first half, and they kind of exploded against Virginia Tech. Not a bad Virginia Tech team, not as good as people thought they were going to be, but they're okay. Like, it's still a good
Right.
win on the road. You know that Virginia Tech plays the Enter Sandman before the fourth quarter. Didn't matter
Love
because
it.
Clemson did win the game anyway. Point is, though, I'm going to go with Clemson to get the job done here. We were waiting for an Arduzzi and Pitt to kind of fall apart. They were overachieving. I think we'd agree on for most of the season.
Fair.
They have been very underwhelming the last 2 weeks. Against SMU, SMU might be a playoff team. We'll see. They got buried, though. Lost the game by 23. You got to beat Virginia at home. It is what it is. I know Virginia is a team that is okay. They're 5-4,
Right.
but at home, like if you're going for an AC title game spot, you got to win that game. It is
You
what it
got
is.
to.
So
Yeah.
I'll go with
100%.
Clemson. Pitt, the issue I have with them is that offensively, they really don't have many weapons. I love Reed. I think Reed's a really good kind of dual threat guy, whether it involves catching out of the backfield or running the ball.
Right.
I'm not sold on the receiving core. I think that the receivers are
That's fair.
fine. I think Holstein wasn't that great last week, but I think you're looking at a spot where Clemson just has more talent. And I feel like with Pitt losing back-to-back games, their season's kind of slipping away. They might have been that team that overachieved early. They're kind of underachieving late, and it's going to balance out in the middle. I can't back Pitt, though. If you lose to Virginia at home, I question how important the home field actually is for this game. I think Clemson gets it going. I like their defense. I think Klubnik's been fine this season. Give me Clemson by potentially a rout. They could blow this team out. If Pitt ends up falling behind early, they might roll over. That's my concern. So I'll go with
Right.
Clemson to get the job done by 17. I think this game could turn into a rout.
That's worrisome. I do worry about that. I be honest with you, I kind of like the under 53 and a half, but I also lean Pitt with the points. And I think that kind of correlates to why I like, you know what I mean? If Pitt stays in this game, they're not going to get in a shootout with
It's
them.
kind of a spot, yeah, where I would have considered Pitt if we had this matchup like 2 weeks ago. But
Fair.
things change. You know, college football
Yeah.
teams kind of either I put it this way: with a lot of teenagers on the squad, you have to wonder about how mentally engaged they are for the entire season. When
Yeah.
things go bad, they go really bad
They
really
check out
quickly.
quick.
Shout out to Florida State. You get what I'm trying to say, though. Point is, some teams are able to withstand adversity and some teams can't. Pitt's kind of going through it right now. And if Clemson's able to open up a lead early, I don't trust the
Yeah.
mental resolve of this Pitt team. I think Clemson might go up early, they might go up often, and they might dominate this game. So I think Clemson ends up winning this game by, in my opinion, 3 possessions. I think if they blew this game open, I would not be shocked.
Well, Pitt, it's time to show up. I mean, it's time now or never on this season. To be honest with you, this game here, the green. There's so much potential to say right now. The Tulane Green Wave, does the Navy midshipmen, you know, do they weather the storm with the Green Wave? I don't know. In my head, there was a lot to say there, but the
You got
Green
some
Wave are
water, you
minus
got
10.
some submarines, they balance it out. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. There's got to be some kind. This has got to be like some sort of Atlantis type battle. You know, like the Aquaman's going to fly in here. Green Wave minus 7, total 52 and a half. Man, I'm on Navy. I'm on Navy plus points. I'm on Navy. I sprinkled the money line. So that's where I'm at here. I think Navy can get this job done at 7-2. I mean, I get it. Tulane 8-2, 6-0 in the conference. They're barely ranked at 25, but I think they're overrated. I think their record, I think Navy's a better team.
Okay, so we're going to disagree a bit here because, yes, they ended up losing to Kansas State early. They had a touchdown that got overturned late. Lost to Oklahoma, not exactly a good showing there, but
Right.
they've been really good in conference. I mean, they're 6-0. They've won each of their last 2 games. I know Temple's not very good, and I know that Charlotte's not very good, but they did win both those games by a combined score of 86-9. 86-9. I think Tulane's actually really good. I think that you make the argument that they might be the very fun I should say group of 5 school that you want to back in a bowl game against maybe like an unmotivated Power 5 school that has half the players opt out. I think Tulane's in a good spot to win one of those games in potentially the next month or two. But I think you're looking at a spot, I think 2 months actually. Point is, though, I think Tulane's going to win. Navy, I do like them as a team. I'm not sold on the pass defense. I think that when you're looking at Tulane's offense, they can definitely exploit a couple of holes in this Navy defense. But I think it makes sense that Tulane's favored by 7. Navy is a team that I think, once again, is a lot of fun. I love watching the triple option teams go. I'm not sold on their defense. I mean, I mentioned a second ago that Charlotte ended up getting blown out by Tulane. They got blown out by Navy as well. Navy, though, did lose to Notre Dame by about 37. They lost to Rice on the road by 14. Beat
That's a
South
bad
Florida.
loss.
I'm not sure if South Florida's any good. I mean, South Florida right now is 4-5, but
Right.
I think Navy hasn't really beaten anybody. You look at the schedule. They beat Memphis. That's a good win. I'll give them props there. Give up 44 points, though, in that game. Beat UAB. They're terrible. Beat Air Force. They're terrible. Charlotte's not any good. They beat Temple. They're not any good. And they beat Bucknell. They've really beaten anybody. I think Tulane is actually the better team. They were able to, once again, go at Oklahoma on the road. They faced off against Kansas State. Those are 2 Power 5 schools. They challenged themselves. Navy didn't really do that. I think Tulane's the more battle-tested team. I think they're the better team. I preferred it earlier in the week when it wasn't at a full touchdown. It was at like 6. I preferred that personally. I'll go with Tulane in this game. I think defensively they can match up with the option better than most teams, but I mostly think that Navy's defense is going to struggle against the passing attack that Tulane has. I'll go with Tulane personally.
I'll tell you what, you can find 6.5. So depending on where you want to be, if you want to be on Tulane, you can find 6.5. If you want to be on Navy, you can find 7s. I just like Navy at home. I think they get up for this game. I'm still hoping for a Navy Army, playoff here type situation for the conference. I think they can get this. I think with a win here, they're definitely in play. I think Tulane here might slip. And I like Navy at home. I just like the home field. I love the points here. I mean, I'll sprinkle. I'm not saying Navy wins outright, but I think they're a live dog.
I mean, it's a full touchdown with a triple option team that can control the game if they get the ground game going. I get the argument. I just think Tulane's a better team.
And I'll take the under. I do like the unders, which correlates because if Navy wins this game, I think they keep it under. Speaking
I like the under anyway, by the way, because I think that Tulane can once again do a good enough job of scoring, but I think that defensively they might be able to keep Navy in check. But Navy's going to try to drain clock anyway. So I don't mind some type of like 27-14 game.
Okay. Fair enough. Mercer and Alabama. Alabama minus 42.5, 58.5. This comment says it all. Why is Alabama playing a team like Mercer?
They've been doing this for years. So
yeah, but this is like it's
a bunch of garbage. But it's they've been doing it for years since Saban got there. So
it's so ridiculous. I mean, I got nothing in this game. I don't recommend betting this game. I don't know how anybody could. Mercer 9-1 though, so shout out to Mercer. I mean, I'm just 6-1 in their conference, 9-1 overall. But I mean, this is a different caliber of teams here. Why? I mean, you got anything to add about that?
Yeah, I feel like when I'm looking at Sonny's question here, they've been doing it for a long time. It's a way of letting everybody else around them in big games fall apart while they basically do nothing, get a bye week. It's extremely scummy, but the NCAA lets them get away with it, so they choose to. I'm surprised more teams don't do this, to be honest with you, because I feel like why would you not do this if you got away with it every time? And Bama's won a bunch of titles. They made a bunch of college football playoffs. Why would you not try to do this if you could get away with it? But for the game itself, it's a waste of time. I mean, Alabama's going to win. We know they're going to win. Question is, do they care? I miss Saban because I'd bet Mercer, if Saban was the coach, he would never run up the score against these teams. They didn't win all these games by like 35 points to like 40 points, but they would never cover. And I feel like it was a great spot to take the dog, even live betting. Wait for Alabama to go up 21 in the first quarter. Then you live bet the other team plus 50 and change. They'd always cover every time. So I miss Saban because he used to be able to make a lot of money just fading them in the spot. But with, of course, the new coach in DeBoer, I don't know what to expect from this game. Bama's going to kill them. It's a question of by how much. So I'm just going to ignore it and focus on actual games. It's a waste of my time.
Fair enough. Fair enough. How about this one? Penn State minus 28.5, over under 50.5. I feel like this is another waste. I didn't touch this game. I don't want nothing to do with this game. I don't feel like it's competitive. I don't think Purdue is in any way, shape, or form in this game. I don't care where it's at. I don't want to lay 4 touchdowns. You know what I mean? I don't want to lay the points, but I don't want to bet this either. I don't find anything in this game.
I think Penn State should kick this team's ass. Question is, do I think they actually do it?
Right.
Sure, I'll give it to them. Why not? It's a classic Penn State spot where you lose to Ohio State, you lose the important game, and then you face off against a crappy team and you win by 30. I feel like Penn State will bounce back here. Purdue's really bad. Really, really bad. Now, I get the argument is, maybe Penn State gets bored and maybe they end up coasting a bit to the end. I don't think so. I think after losing to Ohio State, you kind of want to right the ship and kind of just get everybody back in a positive frame of mind. And by doing so, you beat Purdue by about 35. Purdue's really bad.
I don't see no difference in like last week's score. Penn State beats Washington 35-6.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. Like, they lost to Ohio State. They went in against Washington. Washington's not terrible. They dominated the game. They gave up less than 7 points. Purdue got shut out by Ohio State. They lost that game by about 40. I don't see why this would be much different. Purdue might not score a touchdown. Penn State might score 35. I mean, how many points does Penn State need to score in order to cover? Can they cover while scoring 34 points? Possibly.
I think that's the thing. They have to score 30. Honestly, they could win this game 20. I don't know if Purdue scores.
That's kind of where I'm at. I think Penn State can win scoring in theory 31 points. I'll give them 35. I think 5 touchdowns is realistic here. I don't see Purdue getting to 7. So I'll go with a 34-3 type game. I'll go with Penn State to cover with the under, which is contrarian, but I think Purdue does nothing in this game.
I can't get behind. I can't get behind Penn. I can't think Purdue in any way, shape, or form shows up. Like, I don't even know if they get into positive territory. This could be bad for Purdue. I mean, like, really bad. So, what's the next game we have up? This is a bad game too. I'm trying to think. Yeah, Virginia. The Irish minus 22.5, total 50.5. I think this number has moved up. I think I see 20. Well, this is 23 out there, but 22.5, 23 points. I don't want nothing to do with this game either. 50.5 total. Notre Dame should roll this game. They are one of the teams that they would probably run this shit up. But I don't want nothing to do with this game. Your thoughts?
I do want to ask you, even though I know Notre Dame is focused on winning every game moving forward in order to actually make it to the playoff, is there a look-ahead spot against undefeated Army next week? Because they kick Navy's ass. They beat the triple option teams every year. Do they look ahead to that game? I have no idea.
My question would be, to answer that question with another question is, do they? I guess I don't know if they. To answer your question, I don't think they do.
For the record,
I don't think
Notre Dame kills Army
but
anyway.
I think they might.
Yeah, they might. I think
it's a Notre Dame thing to do.
Spoiler for next week, I think Notre Dame kicks Army's ass. It is what it is. But I think that Notre Dame is going to look sharp here. They have been great since losing to Northern Illinois. They've been really good. I mean, if you're reading off the actual margins here of their games, beat Purdue by 59, beat Miami, Ohio by 25, Louisville by 7. Louisville's a pretty good team. Beat Stanford by 42, Georgia Tech by 18, beat Navy by 37, and beat Florida State, a fake team, by 49 points. They've been murdering teams. Now, Virginia had a nice win against Pitt. It's a pretty good letdown spot for Virginia, though. You pull off the upset against Pitt in a game that most people think you had no chance at winning. Now you're against Notre Dame. They might get buried. I think physically, Notre Dame should be a lot for Virginia to handle. Too much for Virginia to handle. I'm going to go with Notre Dame here. I don't feel great about it. I'm not going to bet it. Give me Notre Dame by 24. I think it's a sweat. I think it'll come down to the wire. Virginia might be down 28 with like 3 minutes to go, and you got to fight off one final drive. But I just think Notre Dame is too physically, I'd say, just big for this Virginia team to handle. I'll go with Notre Dame. I like their pass defense. If Virginia can't throw the ball, they can't really move it. They rely heavily on the pass game. I don't see that working out against this defense. So I'll go with Notre Dame to win this game comfortably.
I think Notre Dame wins it comfortably.
If they want to, they can win this game by 30.
Is the problem for me. I think they win by touchdown. I think they could. This could be a spot where they do look at Army for next week. I don't know if they do. I think they're too cocky to do it. That's that's like literally just a feeling. I feel like Notre Dame in the past thinks they're better than other teams just on
Well, that's their
pure.
entire reputation for the last 30 years. So
Exactly. It's just entitlement of like, oh, we can be bothered. Which worries me that they feel this way about this game and worries me about next week. But the record, like you said, they win 52-3, 51-14. They blow people out. So lean Irish, don't know if I'll bet it. Boston College and SMU. Mustangs minus 19.5, 54.5 here. Again, I don't want nothing to do with it. Probably lean at SMU should win this game by 4 touchdowns. I don't know if they get up for this game.
the only concern I really have for Boston College is the fact that Castellanos opted out. And he was their starting quarterback. They used the backup quarterback for one game this season, and they almost lost to Western Kentucky. Now, Western Kentucky's a good team in their conference, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like they probably should have lost the game to Western Kentucky. So SMU's fighting for a playoff spot. They probably have to win out to get there, but they also could clinch a spot in the AC title game if they keep winning. So I'll go with SMU. I would go Boston College, but I think it's factored in that Castellanos is that important to this team. The backup, I don't think, is very good. It's a really big letdown, potentially, for Boston College when your main quarterback, your best player, after beating Syracuse, decides, you know what, I'm good.
I'm out.
I'm gonna go elsewhere. That's a morale just killer for this team. I'll go with SMU in this one. It's priced in the, once again, Castellanos is worth multiple points. He's significantly better than the backup quarterback. I think it's a really bad emotional spot for Boston College. Their starting quarterback just quit on the team. I'll go with SMU to win this game by 3 touchdowns.
Fair enough. Mustangs minus the points.
I probably would have taken Boston College, by the way, if Castellanos was playing. But with him not being playing, there is a massive drop-off with him in the backup. So I'll go with SMU.
What do you think the line moves? Because I think it moves over, I think, with him playing. Where do you think it moves?
I mean, watching the Boston College game against Western Kentucky a couple months ago, I think Castellanos is worth like 6+ points. I really think Boston College would be getting less than 2 touchdowns if he was playing. I think there's that big of a drop-off.
I was going to say, it gets under 14.
That's what I'm saying. I said 13.5. That's kind of where I have it, but I don't trust this team to move the ball that much with a backup quarterback in. They had a hard time moving it against Western Kentucky. That game was an absolute war, and they ended up coming back and winning. That was a mess for a half plus. SMU's good.
I think SMU is really good. Yeah, I agree. And this is why I lean SMU too before we go to the next game, because I think they are trying to get in that playoff spot, and I think they can. I think they can win out.
They can. I don't think they're going to, but they can. Because if they have to face off against Miami in a conference title game, I'd probably pick Miami. Be a lot of fun, a lot of points in that game. But
a lot of points in that game.
It is asking a lot because they have California on deck. They're not that bad. There are a couple of tricky potential games coming up, but this is not one of them.
Fair enough. Louisville Cardinals minus 20.5 on the road to Stanford. Total 57.5. Some big spreads here in this week, and I don't like a whole lot. I don't like the big numbers. I don't like laying them. It is what it is. Stanford bad though. 2-7 overall. They're like 1-4, 1-5 in the conference. They're a bad football team, but they're still at home. Yeah, like 3 touchdowns. I don't know if I could take 3 touchdowns either. What are your thoughts here in this matchup?
Well, for this one, you have the Cardinals against the Cardinals, so I'll take the one with multiple if I had to choose between the two of them. But for this game, I am going to go Louisville with the points. At the end of the day, I agree with you that it is a lot of points, but damn, Stanford sucks. I mean, they lost to NC State by 31 points. They gave 59 points. NC State's been bad all year. Like, they might not make a bowl game. They lost to SMU at home by 30. They played Notre Dame, lost by 32. Played at home against Virginia Tech, lost by 24. They're getting blown out at home in a lot of these games. I think Louisville's good enough to lay it on them. I'll put it that way. I understand it's intimidating laying this number with a road team. Stanford is brutal. They get killed at home against any team with a pulse. I'll go with Louisville. I actually like this team. I think they have a good quarterback. They can score. Defensively, they're not that great, but Stanford can't score. So I'll go with Louisville to win this game by potential route. They might score 40 points in this game. I think the offense is that good. Stanford is a mess. And they're going to probably fire their coach in a year or two because he's not any good. So I'll go with Louisville to win this game comfortably.
I do like Louisville. It's just a lot of points to lay on the road, but Stanford is so bad. So bad. How about this here? LSU Tigers -4 on the road, taking on the Gators. Now we got another, 3 a.m. TV show. Who wins in a fight, Tiger or Gator? Total at 55. What are your thoughts on this matchup? Because I kind of like the over just by itself, but I don't. I got it at 54.5 before it got to 55. What are your thoughts, though?
Yeah, so it's a pretty bad. I mean, it's an interesting spot for LSU because they did get their asses kicked by Alabama at home. But the argument is Bama always beats them. So what else is
But
really
that
new?
was bad, bad.
Oh, they got killed. Point is
Yeah.
though, Lagway is back for Florida, so they actually have a quarterback again because their third stringer wasn't any good. It's why Texas killed them. I agree with you about the over. I see points here. I'm not sold
Mhm.
on LSU's defense in general, and of course, any trip to the swamp can be dangerous at times. I think
Yeah.
LSU is better. I think Nussmeier is better than Lagway. I think that the receiving core of Lacey, etc., is still better than what Florida has. I like the over in this game, though. I think LSU win by a touchdown. I'll go LSU in this game. I don't think Florida's good. And the argument
Yeah.
is Napier getting fired? And the argument might be, I'd say 65% yes. Is that fair? I might be underselling. He might be a dead
Yeah.
man walking at this point, but I think LSU's the better team. Lagway, though, should help them score. So I like the
Yeah.
over in this game, too, but I'll go with LSU.
I love the over here. I love it.
Well, the Lagway being back, I have to, because I hated their
Yeah,
third
yeah.
string
I
quarterback, but
figure
Lagway's fine.
I gotta figure Florida gives me 20 points at
Yeah.
least 20 mid 20s, and I think LSU gives me high 30s. I'll be honest with you. I think LSU scores
So do I.
here.
They should be pissed
So
off. I mean, that was their biggest game of the year, and they got run out of the building. So they should
fair
be
enough.
motivated to get back on track.
Excuse me. Fair enough. Missouri and South Carolina -14, total 43.5. I just don't know what to think about this Missouri team. I can't get on the right side of them. When I fade them, I'm wrong. When I follow, I'm wrong. I just whatever. So I just made this graphic and moved on. I got nothing in this game. Zero, zilch.
Well, I mean, a lot of it comes down to if Brady Cook's going to play, and the answer is
Yeah,
probably not. They can't score. They were able to win that game against Oklahoma somehow. I don't know how they won
I
the
don't
game,
know
but they won the
how.
game.
Right? Yeah,
That was a hell of a finale, though. But the point is, Pine is not any good. I know he was good in the last drive or two, but he's not a good quarterback. So I like the under in this game. I'll keep it simple. Missouri is a team that is getting a bunch of points because they're not very good. And Drinkwitz came out and said, "We're still alive for the playoff." I didn't know they had an NIT in college football because you're
yeah.
not
I don't
making the
know.
regular
Yeah,
bracket. I'll tell you that much. Your team's not good enough. I think South Carolina's figured it out. I think their quarterback situations worked out with Sellers. They were able to shut down Vandy. Vandy's given a lot of teams problems. Beat Alabama, gave Texas a close game. South Carolina gave up 7 points. They dominated that entire game. I think Missouri won't be able to move the ball, but Missouri's defense is fine. So I like the
right.
under. I think South Carolina will go up early. I think they'll coast. It's a lot of points to be laying in a ranked versus ranked matchup. I understand it, though, with Cook being out. I'll go with the under, though. I think Missouri's defense is fine. I think South Carolina's defense is really good. That defensive line is filthy. I
Yeah,
see a low-scoring game. Give me a similar game to what we saw with the Vandy game last week. South Carolina wins. Maybe they cover, but 28-7? Like, they might give up 10 points in this game. I think South Carolina wins this game potentially close to the spread, like 24-10. This total's way too high. I'll go with the under.
I do agree. I think this total is extremely. You see it and you automatically think, "Oh, that's way low for a college football total." I don't think it's low enough. I do lean under, but again don't have nothing in this game. Missouri just made the no bet list. It is what it is. Boise State and the Broncos taking on San Jose State. And the Spartans total 61.5. Broncos -13.5. I just can't not call them San Jose State. So it is what it is. I mean, 8-1, this Boise State team. Again, though, 2 touchdowns on the road. I laid it.
I like Boise in general. I mean, I got them to win the
Right.
conference, which is in pretty good shape right now, but we'll see what
Yep.
happens. Now, Boise State, we know offensively, they've been great. Genty's a madman. Now, third in Heisman race, which is a joke. He should be winning it, in my opinion. Point is, though,
Fair.
they weren't great against Nevada last week. So the argument is this potentially a sign that Boise is starting to, I'd say, look a bit underwhelming? Or is that just one bad game and they'll bounce back on this one? I'm going to go more with option B for this one. I mean, Boise needs to win out to actually make the playoff. So they can't even actually have any letdown spots because if
None.
they do, they're not going to make the playoff. So I think they're going to respond well here. San Jose State has a pretty underrated team in general. I think that they're feisty. I'll put it that way. They almost beat Washington State, lost in double overtime earlier this season. Main guy is Nash. Nick Nash is a really, really good receiver. 13 touchdowns, 1,100 yards. He's really good. This season, they're 6-3. Beat Oregon State by 11 on the road. Good win there against Oregon State. Did lose to Fresno by 23. Don't know what happened there. But I think when you're looking at the San Jose State team, they can hang in there. I think I'm going to go with Boise, though. I like the under in this game. I think the total's too high. I mean, you're looking at the overall defense for San Jose State. It's been good lately. They gave up 13 to Oregon State, gave up 14 to Wyoming. Yes, I know that Boise's better than those teams. Boise defensively is okay. Total feels a bit high to me. I'll go with the under. I mean, Nevada can't stop anybody, and Boise only scored 28.
Right.
I'll go with the under in this one. Feels like a lot of points. I see this finishing somewhere in the 50s.
Yeah, I do lean the under here as well, but I laid the points with the Broncos. I think they win this game pretty handedly. But I to be honest with you, I don't want to say two-handedly, but I think they get to the 30s. Let's put it that way. Maybe, like a 34-17 kind of win or something to that nature, but I don't think we get close to the total.
I was gonna, even with 35 though, you need like 28 to get there to the over. 27. Like that's asking a lot for both teams.
I feel Boise can get there though. I feel like they can get there.
Oh, they can. I'm not sure San Jose State does enough. That's my point. If Boise gets to 35, you still need about 27 from San Jose State, which I don't see happening.
That's fair. That's fair. Let's see where we at next on this game. Here we are. Arizona State. Wildcats -8 from K-State. Over-unders 50.5. I can't get behind neither state. I don't believe Kansas State is as good as 7-2, and Arizona State 7-2 is not great either. I don't like either team.
I think I'm going to take the points. I'm kind of in your boat. I'd rather get 7.5 than lay 7.5 with a team that I don't really like. Fair. Kansas State lost to Houston. Houston can't score. Avery Johnson, of course, was supposed to take over for Will Howard. He's been fine. Not the best thrower. He's just not. He's more of a running first quarterback as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I think Arizona State's not bad. I think that they're a team that's been kind of undervalued most of the season. They're expected to be around a 500 team. Team is pretty good with their head coach. Young head coach. They were able to pull off some upsets. They have been a solid team in conference play for their standards, at least. Give me the points. I see it being a close game. I think that you're looking at Arizona State being feisty like they have been all year. I think Kansas State wins, but I don't think they win by a lot. Give me Kansas State, in my opinion, a one-possession game.
And you could find I want to take the points here, but I don't like either team, and I feel kind of meh about both teams. So I didn't do anything officially, but I leaned the points. I mean, in this kind of matchup, it's decided by less than a touchdown. So I'll take the points.
See, I don't know if it's a hot take or not. I might actually like Arizona State's quarterback more than Kansas State's quarterback. I like Leavitt a lot. I think Sam Leavitt's good. I'm not really sold on Avery Johnson, but if you want to give me 8 points with arguing with a better quarterback, I'm going to take it. I think Leavitt's good.
I would argue that you could make a case either way for like the quarterback advantage.
That's my point. It's a toss-up, but I'm getting 8 points.
Exactly.
So I don't see a big disparity in terms of quarterback play here. So I'll go with Leavitt.
Fair enough. Oregon Ducks -14. Quack, right? And first of all, when I made this graphic, like this duck against the badger, it was just like
it looks good. It's like a National Geographic special, but for some reason, I'm like telling you, badger on water.
Right? Yeah, this is another one. Who wins in a fight? Right? This angry duck or this badger here? Ducks -14, total 52.5. Wisconsin's not good. I mean, they're just it's not. I mean, it's Big Ten. Oregon's #1. I think they're deservedly a #1 ranked team too.
Yeah, they're undefeated. They beat Ohio State. They should be.
They beat everybody they put in front of them. They should beat they should beat Wisconsin though. I hate laying 2 touchdowns on the road, but I'm going to lay the points on this matchup.
Yeah, Wisconsin screams 6-6 to me. They'll make a bowl game. Not really relevant. Whatever. Nope. Like I feel like it's been what they've been for the last couple of years. Wisconsin hasn't won a big game in years. They really just haven't. They lose all these big games. I made a case for them against Penn State. Now, shout out to Wisconsin. Their defense did enough. I had the Penn State team total under, which got there by a hook. But
yeah,
I've seen Wisconsin lose these games home or away for the last, I don't even know how long. They always lose these games. It's a great game when argument for an upset where you're looking at a conference rivalry, or not a rivalry because they just joined the conference, but it's a night game. in
Yeah.
conference play. Wisconsin has a great crowd environment. And you're like, okay, maybe they can do something. They never do. They always lose. Give me Oregon.
Yeah, this is 100% a spot where you'll think Wisconsin's good or can hang, and
They
they
do
don't.
for maybe a
And this
quarter
is
and a
13
half.
and a half now. By the way, if you haven't bet this game, I got it at 14,
This
but you
is a
can find
pretty
13 and a half.
standard Wisconsin script game where they hang around for a quarter. They have a dumb turnover. Momentum goes against them. They get run
Yeah.
out of the building. Give me Oregon by 21 points.
That's perfect, by the way.
It's every single game. It happened in Penn State. They
Yeah.
pick 6 inside their own territory, but they do it all the time. Wisconsin hangs in there. The defense shows up focused. The offense does nothing. The defense
Right.
gets exhausted and they get buried.
And here's the thing. I no offense, but that's not a hot take. That's just Wisconsin's MO.
I went to the school. I've seen it for a long time. Like, it's just what happens. Oregon's going to win this game.
Yeah, right. God, damn, that's right on. Tennessee and Georgia. Just, you just want to have a cocktail, sit back and watch this game. Tennessee on the road, getting 10 points, total 48 and a half. I see some 9.5s out there all over the place, actually. So, I mean, shop your lines, folks, but 10 points here. Georgia at home. I don't think either team can afford to lose.
They can't. I think if you're asking about which team can afford to lose more than the other one, I think it would be Tennessee because they only have one loss. I have a hard time imagining that a 3-loss Georgia team gets in because they're not going to play in the conference title game either. So that's going to be a serious problem for them. Tennessee could, in theory, lose and maybe still have a shot at a conference title game, but I feel like it's a game where people are going to blindly take Georgia because it's a get-up spot after losing. They're at home, and Georgia, historically speaking, for the last couple of years, should respond well. You've lost a lot of money back in Georgia this season. They're not very good. And mostly Carson Beck, who I think is not a great quarterback. Now, Tennessee's in a weird spot because they've been winning games. Have I been impressed with them either? Not really. I mean, I see Sonny mentioning Georgia first half because Tennessee's been off to some slow starts. They have. They've been a really bad first half offense, and they've had to get it going in the second half. I think it's going to be a close game. I'll go with the points. I think I like the under, actually. I don't really trust either offense to show up for a full 4 quarters, so I don't mind the under in this game. But I think I'm going to go with Tennessee plus the points. Georgia's just been underachieving over and over again, and people blindly back them every week. They scored 10 points against Ole Miss. I know it was raining. The weather wasn't great. 10 points? Really? Like, I'm on the under. I see an ugly game. Tennessee's defense is still good. The offense hasn't been as good as we thought it was going to be after the first month or so in non-conference. Give me the under. I think Georgia wins, but I think it's close. Give me a 24-20 type game.
That's fair. You could find this too. You could find this total. I see 48 and a half. I see 46 and a half.
Do you trust both offenses to actually show up for 4 quarters? Because I don't.
No, I don't. My favorite play of this is probably the under as well with you. I'm that guy who's been betting Georgia all year and losing money.
You know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to bet Georgia. I do. I want to lay the points. I do. I think, after that loss last week, history will tell you they're going to come in here and smack the hell out of Tennessee. But
this Georgia team's a lot worse this year than they were the last couple of years.
Exactly. So I worry about that. I do like this. I'm going to tail this as well with you, Sonny. Georgia first half minus the 6. Tennessee, I like that. I'll tail you with that. I'm good with that. Where are we at here? What else we got left?
I think I like Tennessee first half team total under instead. I really don't want to back Carson Beck under any circumstances. I'd rather just back the defense if I had to choose.
So you're saying, okay, yeah, I see
Tennessee first half team total under. I agree about the slow start. Should help Georgia out. But damn, I hate backing Carson Beck.
Yeah, I know. I can't. Yeah, that's hard. It's hard. And I'll tell you what, all year he's lost me money. All damn year.
I got a separate question. How bad is the backup like Stockton? Because Beck arguably should have been benched like 2-3 weeks ago. How bad is your quarterback situation?
If this shit goes south, we're about to find out.
It's been going south. He's still starting.
I mean,
10 points, lost by 18 goals. You figured at least he'd have some conversations about bringing in a different quarterback. Maybe.
Tennessee had 3 conference games, 0 points in the first half.
Yeah, team total under. I don't mind it.
There you go. It's like 8.5.
Sure.
Sure.
All right, whatever.
I mean, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It's just like, oh, it is what it is. Aggies minus 39.5, total 54.5, Texas A&M. I don't, nope, don't want nothing to
I
do
have
with
no
it.
interest at all. One way or another, give me the Aggies.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's
See
where
what I
I'm
did
at.
there? I mean, I
If
felt
you
like
take
we
the
can't go
Aggies, you
wrong.
automatically win. Just
I'll
keep
be
that in
honest with
mind.
you.
So
This should have been our best bet. We should have just said Aggies plus
Aggies,
point.
no, not even plus, just Aggies to cover.
Aggies the cover. That should that
Interpret it
in
how you
fact,
want, but I have
maybe
no
that's our
interest.
best bet. We're gonna
I have
add that as a bonus best bet.
if Jimbo was the coach, I would take the points, but I think Elko's an actual head coach, so I'm going to stay away from this one. I think I probably would go to New Mexico State if I had to pick, but I'm not betting this game. I got better things
It's
to do.
yeah, it's just bad. It just screams bad spot. I don't want nothing to do with
You could
this.
probably get a better number live betting. A&M
Yeah,
goes up 14-0 immediately. You live bet, you get 40 and change. Like you probably get a better number midway.
that's fair. Washington State and New Mexico. Cougars minus 10.5,
What a total. Let's
72 and a
go.
half. How about that? Is this our first? No, this can't be our
No,
first.
because New Mexico had a game a couple weeks ago
I was just gonna
against,
say, yeah.
I forgot who it was, Utah State maybe? They had a massive total game and it went over. I forgot who they were against.
Yeah, and they won 50 to 45. I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, I'm saying that game did go over though.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a big total, but I like it. I like it
I'd
over.
rather
I
take the
like
over than the under in this game if that's what you're
fair.
looking for.
Um, and God, I want to take the points in the over.
I'm gonna go Washington State. New Mexico's
Okay.
been a surprisingly okay team. They got a shot at a bowl game. Props to them there, but the defense is useless. And
Right.
even offensively, they had a couple of games in there which weren't great. They lost to Wyoming by 4. They scored 45 points, but they scored 21 against San Diego State, scored 6 against Colorado State. A couple games recently, not always lighting it up offensively. Defensively, though, they're guaranteed to get killed. I
Right.
think Washington State, I see 10 on ESPN bet right now, so you can actually find a better number. They beat Utah
Yeah.
State by 21, beat San Diego State by 3, beat Hawaii by 32. I think that Washington State's the better team. 10 feels short to me. Like, how many points does New Mexico have to score to cover this line? Because they're not stopping anybody. Do they have to score like 35 points to
I
cover?
was gonna say they might have to score 40.
That's kind of my point. I'd rather not pick them to score 40.
You
Give me
know.
Washington State. If I think Washington
Yeah.
State scores 40 no matter what, I'll take them to
Yeah.
cover.
You know, you might look at a watch. I wonder what I'm looking right now. Washington State's team total.
I mean, it's going to be massive. You're looking at probably close to like 30, what was that,
It's
30,
41 and a half.
41 and a half? Yeah, like
41 and a half on Pinnacle right now.
I'd rather
Just
not
pulled that
pick
up.
New Mexico to score 31 just for the shot at covering. I'd rather take Washington State to just score a bunch of points. They give up 49 to Wyoming.
Yeah.
Wyoming stinks.
Yeah,
49 to Wyoming.
Wyoming.
What are you kidding me? Like I'll take
What
Washington State
what
to
are we
score
doing
50.
here?
Give me Washington State to score 50.
That's fair. That's fair. Let's talk this matchup here. Last one, then we'll get to our best bet. Kansas and BYU and the Cougars minus 2.5. I'm trying to look at that line right now. But I got 2.5 here and 56.5 in this matchup. I mean, BYU continues to roll, and I don't see why they wouldn't roll here.
I'm going to go with Kansas in this game.
Oh, no. Why?
Personally, BYU's been a very fun ride. I've had a great time, even though I have kind of considered going against them a couple times because the odds makers have gotten destroyed going against this BYU team. But
Yes.
Kansas did beat Houston comfortably. They lost a close game to Kansas State on the road, beat Iowa State, scored 45 points. I get BYU gets no respect. They're like riding Dangerfield. They get no respect.
They get
But I am
none.
going to go with Kansas. I think that they figured it out offensively. BYU defensively still not sold on. I think Retzlaff's been good. They've had a lot of Houdini acts in the fourth quarter of these games. Kansas has been better lately. Maybe it's because I think Utah stinks and they won that game by 1 point, but they beat Oklahoma State by 3 that game. I mean,
Right.
Oklahoma State sucks. Like they probably should have lost that game too. I like the over. I don't trust either team to stop anybody in this game. So I like the over in it, but I feel like Kansas being 3-6, only getting 2.5. Damn, man, I think Kansas can pull this off for some reason. Give me the over in this game, though, but I'll go with Kansas.
Sonny's hit the nail on the head. They still get no respect.
I know, they get no respect.
They get none. And I'm on BYU. I like the
Until they
over.
lose, you honestly should be on BYU because they keep winning.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the over as well. I just think I think they keep rolling here, and
The
I'm just
over is
going to
my
keep
favorite
betting.
play. Because
Yeah,
if Kansas wins, they're going to have to score a bunch of points. And if BYU wins, I still think they have to score a bunch of points. So I'll go with the over in this
they
one.
still have to score a bunch of points. Either way, we're going to get to some stuff here, but we'll get to the chat in a second. Let's talk about our best bet in Liberty -14 here. UMass and the Minutemen are hosting Liberty and the Flames. Over under 51.5. Take it away. I'm trying to pull up this game.
So for the record, I feel like for these best bets, we try to stay away from top 25 games.
I agree.
Because we covered them already.
I
So I don't
hope.
want
Yeah,
to
I
cheat
hope
you
you
guys
guys
out of a
understand
pick.
that.
So
Yeah, that's a good
what
point.
I'm trying to say. So I would have gone Missouri under if we were willing to do a top 25 game, but we already covered it, and I feel like we're kind of cheating you guys out of a game breakdown because we already covered the game. So we
That's
are going to
fair.
go with this matchup instead. Liberty's been a team that has been kind of underachieving based on what they did last year going undefeated. They're still pretty good, don't get me wrong. And you are looking at what they've done this season. They've been fine. I mean, you're looking at Liberty only having 2 losses. They are 6-2. They had a very good second half against Middle Tennessee State. They're not any good. But the point is, I feel like Liberty was in an offensive rut. They lost to Jacksonville State. That's a good team. Kennesaw is a joke. That's a really bad loss in general. But they were able to get
they let them
back on
have
track.
one.
They got back on track offensively in the second half against Middle Tennessee State. I'm hoping that righted the ship. We know Massachusetts is bad every year. They got killed by Mississippi State by 25, beat Wagner. They're a really bad FCS team. Lost 45-3 against Missouri. They gave up 34 points to Northern Illinois. They're not a good offense at all. I think it's a good spot for Liberty to get back on track, kind of building up the second half against Middle Tennessee State. But Salter's still a good quarterback. I do think defensively they're fine. I think Liberty is in a good spot where they got it going offensively again last week. That rolls over into this week. 14 is really not that many points. UMass can get run out of the building here. They're not great offensively. I think Liberty kind of, once again, got their confidence back, their mojo back in the game last week. I see them winning comfortably. Give me Liberty -14. I think they'll win this game by probably 20. But if you gave this spread out when the season started, Liberty's probably laying 20 and change. Like, Liberty's not been that great in conference play, but I think it's a decent buy low spot. I'll go with Liberty to get the job done.
Fair enough. Yeah, I tell you what, we text in the morning and, figure out this best play. And good point. We don't go over to the top 25 games. And we just kind of never really talked about that. And I think it was just, kind of just
I've thought about it, but
kind of situation. But
I've thought about it, but it's mostly because if we covered the game already for 5 minutes, then why would we cover it again for 5 minutes? I feel like we're cheating you guys out of a play. So we kind of go with the entire board of unranked matchups. But do you agree, though, with the expectations Liberty had this season and with UMass being a bad team every year? Preseason, if there was a look-ahead line, they're probably laying 20 and change.
I think this is a higher number for sure. I don't know if I'd hit the 20 mark, maybe the 20 and a half, something like that, right around there. And I'll tell you what, I'd probably still lay it. I probably would still lay it because I think UMass is a horrible team. And that Wagner win was a fluke.
It's not even a fluke. No, Wagner is like the worst FCS team in the country.
Wagner is very bad.
We could potentially beat Wagner if we were on a team. That's how bad Wagner is. They're really bad.
And I don't think Liberty, I don't think they're probably as good as their 6-2 record, but I think UMass is worse than their 2-7 record.
The point is Liberty should have a chip on their shoulder because they have underachieved for the last month or so. There should be a chip on their shoulder to not overlook an independent. They should come out and potentially smack a bad team. Maybe it's a tune-up game. You haven't played that well. You want to get your guys back on track for what could be a final conference title push. It's a good spot to take out some frustrations.
I love it. I love it. Like the unranked best bet. Thank you. Let's talk about some chat, though. Where did we leave off here? I think.
Well, somebody asked for some game breakdowns from.
Oh, yeah, there it is right there. I was looking for that. Really appreciate the video, fellas. We appreciate you stopping by. Don't forget to hit that like button. Share us out, too. And if you haven't subscribed to the Whiners and Whiners YouTube channel, you should. Scott puts up free picks daily. There's going to be some YouTube shorts going up there as well, more. But there's a lot of stuff going on the YouTube page, so you should subscribe, share, all that good stuff. If you have time at the end of would love leans on the Nebraska USC game and James Madison Old Dominion. I don't have anything in Madison and Old Dominion. Do you?
Not really. I think Dominion's been fine lately. I feel like it's going to be a pretty interesting game. Madison, I believe, is laying a decent amount of points in that
Yeah.
matchup. Let me just quickly see what the spread is to get an updated number on that.
Mhm.
James Madison's laying. Never mind, they're only laying 3. I might have been confusing them with the Texas State game. Old Dominion lost on the road to App State. Still a tough place to play. Think I'm going to go with the dog, actually. I find it interesting that a 7-2 team is only laying 3 against a 4-5 team. I'm not going to bet it. I'll go with Dominion if I had to choose. I think USC kicks Nebraska's ass.
I'm on USC all day,
Nebraska's
every
off the
which way,
bye.
shape, or form.
I made a tweet about it when I was watching Nebraska lose their last game, and a game they could have won. I think they're going to lose out. I think Nebraska's going to be a team that starts off 5-0, 5-1, and then it loses out and misses a bowl game. But watching Nebraska play, their quarterback's been banged up. Their backup's not any good. I am wondering if you're going to see their starting quarterback back in the lineup. So we'll see what happens there, but I think you're looking at a spot where Nebraska is currently in free fall. I want nothing to do with that team. USC is bad too, don't get me wrong, but they're at home. You're forcing a team to travel west. Rayola's going to play, but he has a back issue. I don't know how he's going to look. His last 4 games, 1 touchdown, 6 picks. I'm good. 1 touchdown, 6 picks. I'm good. I'm fine going elsewhere. Give me USC. Nebraska, I just think is currently unraveling. USC's bad. They're fine at home. They almost beat Penn State. They probably should have beaten Penn State. So I think they can give you some damage at home. Give me USC to win this game by 10+.
Fair enough. I like USC here. I'll lay the points. I didn't want to lay the over the touchdown. You never want to, but I do agree with you. I think Nebraska loses out.
I'm just all the way out. I'm all the way out on Nebraska. I'm all the way out.
They got problems. And USC, they have problems as well. But at home, they're a good team. Or a decent team. I don't know if I want to say good.
No, I think the only loss they have at home was to their only home loss was against Penn State. But if you want to go through the numbers here,
you can argue that game, right?
I mean, I'm going to go through it. They beat Wisconsin by 17. Now, Wisconsin's not good, but you could kind of equate Wisconsin to Nebraska. They're kind of similar. They played 100%. Penn State, probably should have won, lost in overtime. Played Rutgers, won by 22. So they haven't had many home games. Beat Utah State by 48. Utah State sucks. But they are, once again, only losing in overtime to Penn State, who's number, 4 in the country?
Right, yeah.
That's a pretty good home resume.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, where Nebraska, I think, is a free fall right now. And if this game gets out of, like, I look for USC first half because I think that USC gets after them early. And if Nebraska if they start to fall apart in this game, they're just going to, USC will pull away.
I don't think Nebraska can throw the ball. Rayola's been awful lately. Once again, 1 touchdown, 6 picks in conference play recently.
That's all you need to know.
And he has a back issue. He's going to play, but he had to leave the game. He had the backup quarterback trying to lead that final drive in the last game they played because he was too injured to play. There's no guarantee Rayola finishes this game.
Right.
I can't back him because of it. I'll go with USC at home.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Appreciate the breakdown. We appreciate you stopping by as always. Don't forget, guys, you got any other questions or want to rewatch the show back to go over games? That's available on the YouTube. Drop comment sections in there. Don't forget to share. Like I said, as always, we will be back next week, next Thursday, 7:00 Eastern. We'll go over games there. We're going to have to figure something out for the Thanksgiving. We're going to have to rearrange stuff for the Thanksgiving Thursday show. Because I'll be drunk.
You want to do 2 shows next week? You want to do like a Thursday night show and then you want to do a separate show for the weekend games? Or do you want to just do it earlier? We can do it like Tuesday.
We'll have to talk. We'll have to think that through because the Thanksgiving Day game, I'm drunken and napping by the time
what I'm saying is we can do potentially an episode maybe on like we can do 2 episodes, 1 for like the midweek and 1 for the weekend, or we could just merge them all together and do it like Tuesday.
That's fair. We can go over that.
You want to aim for Tuesday and just do 1?
We can figure that out.
I was going to say, we're going to have lines by then anyway. So Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll probably figure that out by then.
Yeah.
Let me think about that. And then we'll figure that out. Be on the lookout, guys. Be on the lookout. This is why you ring the bell for notifications. In case anybody goes live, there's a lot of other live content on the channel. There's definitely free picks available. We appreciate everybody stopping by. As always, good luck unless you're against us. We'll see you guys next week.